But before I get to it, this one part always I don't know, touches me a little bit funny. It's the part where it says that he reached the camp as the army was going out to its battle positions, shouting its war cry. Personally, I don't get that. I mean, 40 days have already passed. I'm assuming this is day 41. David's going out to meet his brothers. Did they not think that Goliath was going to give the same challenge and they were going to run from him in great fear? Like, were things going to be different today? I mean, these guys are all getting pumped up and all getting ready. We're going to yell, we're so tough, we're the Israelites, God's behind us. And then they run from him in great fear. I mean, why even bother shouting your war cry? It's day 41. Goliath is going to do the same thing and you're going to have the same reaction, right? That always strikes me a little bit funny when I read that. Like, why? It's redundant. Why even bother? But I kind of understand it. The only way I can understand it is with football. And so let me give you a football analogy that touched the heart of the people that play sports. Josh, this is for you and the rowing team, so you guys can beat the girls. This will touch you. So football. I remember we would be in the change room at Guelph, and it was before a game. Now our change room was under the seats, like all under the what do you call them? Bleachers. You guys have been to these things before. Thank you. Under the bleachers. So our change rooms were all under the bleachers, and so you could hear the fans. I mean, sometimes we would get a couple thousand fans or more that would come out to these games, and so we're hearing their feet above us, and it's getting us all keyed up. And I mean, we're getting we're starting to feel it. And different people have different ways to get themselves keyed up for the big game, right? When we're going to run out there and do it, do exactly what we've been preparing for the last week. And so some of the guys, some guys just blare music. So you got, a big Walkman or, whatever we had back then. You had a big Walkman, and, we put in a cassette tape. And we just turn up the bass, right? Up the treble, but up the bass even more, and just pumping music. Just da 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 da. So people just yeah, just thinking about how much they're gonna smash the other team, right? Just gonna kill them. Can you feel it? Yes, right? Some people, they'd put like a towel over their heads, right? And they just kind of, they wet a towel and they just sway back and forth, and I mean they're just picturing all the plays in their head and. Like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do then, and I'm just in my own zone, like I'm in it, I'm getting in my zone, I'm feeling it. And then we had this one guy whose name was Colin Dyer, and this guy, his neck was fatter than his head. Like, this guy was he was a beast. He was a beast, right? But he would go around, and he would just lose it on people. Like, he would go around the whole change room, so we just kind of all sat around a circle. And he would just go around people and just freak out, just like, yes! Woo! Can you feel it? Woo! And he just lose it. Like, he would hit people. Like, somebody would, like, punch people in the face. Like, that's how he got keyed up for the game. But then, okay, so we're all keyed up. Griffins, are you ready? Oh, yeah! So we would run out on the field, and all the fans would be like, yeah! And then we would look at the other team, right? And they'd be pretty big. Be like, gee, like, wow. Like, that guy's a lot bigger than me. Like, and that's only their kicker. Stink. Like, oh, wow. And there's something happened, between the change room and getting on the field. The team, they just had a way of stealing the courage from you. They just sapped the courage right out of you. Anything you gained in the change room was lost. And so I imagine those guys in Israel. Like, they were pumping themselves up, right? They're just, and they're listening. Maybe somebody was playing a harp or something, but it was like a, heavy metal harp. And they're just whipping some guys like with a spear and a javelin, just kill somebody, but it's okay because there's so many of them it doesn't matter, right? And then they run out to the Valley of Elah shouting their war cry, and then they see Goliath, the champion from Gath. And somehow Goliath has a way of stealing the courage from a man. Steals it right from them. And they've got nothing. Absolutely nothing. In and of themselves, they are nothing. And they were right about that. They were nothing. But David had something different. So Davy comes in on day 41, and he sees this giant, this uncircumcised heathen. He sees him, and he's not okay with that. He's like, who is this guy that he should defy the armies of the, who does this guy think he is? Is this the first day that he's given the challenge, guys? Who is this joker? Right? So he goes to King Saul. People are hearing about this little boy with courage. So they take him to King Saul, and he says, King Saul, let no one lose heart on account of this Philistine giant. I will go and fight him. And King Saul looks at him. I mean, he's a king. He's royal. He's wearing his crown. He looks at him. He's like, David, my boy. You see, you're only a boy, David. You're not even as big as me. And this giant, he's been fighting since his youth. Davy, he says, good King Saul, your servant is a shepherd. I take care of my father's sheep. Whenever a lion or a bear comes and carries off one of my sheep, I go after it. I pursue it. I chase it. I strike it on the head, and I take back my sheep. When it turns on me, I grab it by the hair, and I kill it. The same will be done for this heathen Philistine, because he has defied the armies of the living God. The same God that protected me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will deliver me from the hand of this Philistine giant. Well, that's a speech from God. That's an inspired speech. Nobody can resist that. Saul said, go. Go and the Lord be with you. So Saul takes his